top, pair of jeans, or shoes. Then when we get there, there's only one problem. It's way too expensive. So after the thoughts of when does it go on sale, or should I just forget about it altogether, goes through our minds, the thought of, I wish I could just take it, goes through the minds of many people as well. So today I'll be reinforcing the idea that shoplifting is wrong. Not only is it wrong, but it's also a crime. I work in a retail store and we lose approximately 150 items per week. This is a really high number, and I wanted to further investigate why people shoplift and what are the causes. First, I'm going to define shoplifting, then show some different ways of how it is done, and lastly tell you the consequences of what happens if you're caught. So, what is shoplifting exactly? Shoplifting is a crime that occurs when someone steals merchandise offered for sale in a retail store. To commit shoplifting, one must intend to permanently deprive the merchant of the value of their merchandise. Shoplifting most often occurs by concealing merchandise in a purse, pocket, or bag. According to the National Association for Shoplifting Prevention, there are an estimated 27 million shoplifters in our nation today. This is approximately 1 in 11 Americans. Retailers lose approximately $35 million a day due to shoplifting, which amounts to over $13 billion a year. The National Association for Shoplifting also states that about 25% of shoplifters apprehended are juveniles and 75% are adults. Shoplifters say that they are caught an average only once every 48 times, and overall they are returned to the police 50% of the time. So how do people shoplift, and how can you tell if someone is shoplifting? There are many different ways to tell if someone is shoplifting. Some are more obvious than the others. Oftentimes, people will go into the fitting room with more items and come out with less. They will have large bags that they will drop into their items into. When someone uses a purse, women sometimes use purses to hide stolen items, and there is little you can do to stop a woman from bringing in her purse or bag. So they have to be watched very carefully to make sure that they don't shove it in their bag. They also use baby strollers as well. Some shoplifters just grab stuff and just walk out with it, like out the door, or run. They rely on the gullibility of the slow response time of the sales associates. Most shoplifters cannot succeed unless they get their privacy. So oftentimes, this is one of the best ways to stop shoplifting is to greet the customer as soon as they walk in, then be attentive to them the rest of the time. But still, shoplifters can distract sales associates using the following tricks. They enter the store in groups, then separate. There is also no There is no way the employees can watch all of them at once. Then another way is a pair of shoppers come in, and while one distracts the associate, the other steals. Another way is that a single shopper sends the only employee in the store to the back room to find an item for a size or color. Then they steal stuff before the employee can come back out of the stock room. While working at my job, there have been a couple events where people have stolen, and we've been able to catch them. Unfortunately, I've never been able to stop anyone, and so we're trained to watch for signs of shoplifting and what to do in a situation. And we have something called a recovery statement, which is if we see someone and they have a blue shirt and they put it in their bag, we're supposed to go up to them and say, "Oh, can I help you find a pair of shorts or jeans to go with that blue shirt?" And ideally, they're supposed to go put it back, and it doesn't exactly happen all the time. And another way is we have sensors on all of our items, and so people like to take off the sensors, leaving a really big hole in the side of the shirt or pants or whatever, and then they hide the sensors and just walk out with the item. So about 75% of our shoplifting occurs in the fitting room. So we check their items before they go in and count them, and then we let them in, and then we memorize one of their items, and so when they come out we say, "Oh, how did that pair of jeans work out for you?" And then if they don't have it, we ask them to go get it, because obviously we know that they have it and they know that it could be in their bag. So if we notice that there's any sensors on the fitting room floor, we'll also go in and say, oh, I noticed there was a sensor on the floor of your fitting room. Can I check your item to make sure it didn't get removed from your clothing so it's not damaged, because we don't want to sell any damaged items. So some consequences for shoplifters is they get caught. Before accusing someone of shoplifting, there has to be probable cause. There are 6 steps to establish probable cause that were created by Chris McGooey, and he's an expert in security, crime, and loss prevention. The first step is that you have to see the shoplifter approach your merchandise. Then you have to see the shoplifter select your merchandise. The third step is you have to see the shoplifter conceal or carry away with your merchandise. The fourth step is you have to maintain a continuous observation of the shoplifter. And the fifth step is you have to see the shoplifter fail to pay for the item. And the last step is you must approach the shoplifter. Often, other consequences include being arrested and being escorted out of the store in handcuffs. They may face charges of theft. They could be banned from the store or mall. And people who have been arrested for shoplifting, especially if it's more than once, may end up with a criminal record. This can make it harder for them to get a job, get into college, or do other things they want. Even if people who shoplift aren't prosecuted, their names can also end up on a national database that some companies can look at when they're making hiring decisions, which could, in turn, screw up their whole career. So, in the midst of the holiday season, there are likely to be more people out shopping, which could, in turn, lead to more people shoplifting. So, I'd just like all of you to be aware of what's going on around you when you're shopping, so you're not accused of anything. So you don't get those people who are, staring you down. That's annoying. So today I talked to you about what shoplifting is, the techniques people use to shoplift, and the consequences. And if you've ever had the urge to shoplift, don't. It's a crime. And if you know anyone who has shoplifted in the past, tell them to stop, because it can be addicting like a drug. And no one wants to get arrested and face the consequences.
Something the Vikings. All right, Caesar, what did you think?
I think you presented the issue early on. The speech was good. I gave several statistics and ways shoplifting occurs. It seemed to be very well organized, and she summed it up pretty well.
Okay. I like the visualization that you start with. It's nicely organized. I think you get better as a speaker as you go along. When you get away from all of the notes in the first part and you start talking to us, it's much more appealing. I think I run into some of the same problems with this speech that we had on the last speech. There's a lot of informative speech here that's less about why we should care about this, how this affects us negatively, what actions to take, and a lot more about here's what happens when people do the shoplifting kind of thing. And I think that section could probably be reduced, although that's the section where you are most, you've got stuff that's interesting to talk about and you're most engaged with the audience, so there's got to be a little bit more balance there. All right, thank you.